Just a quick thing before this episode gets started. Next week, there won't be a new episode of Vinland Saga. I'm taking a break because I had a vacation, but that doesn't mean there won't be content next Sunday. Next Sunday, instead of Vinland Saga, we're going to have the first 4 episodes of Star Wars The Bad Batch, the final season. I've got the full season done and ready to go, and so over those 4 days, Sunday to Wednesday, I'm going to be putting out my reaction to the final season of that. However, I know only a couple people only watch that, so if you don't want to watch that, then don't worry. Come back in 2 weeks from when this video goes out, and we will be back with the next episode of Vinland Saga, which, at time of recording this little intro, I don't have what the next episode is called, so just take my word for it. So, yeah. Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Vinland Saga. Last time around we had Path of Blood, where basically we took a side step away from Thorfinn and his story, and we got to see basically what Knut's been up to. It's been 4 years since season 1, and in that time, Knut managed to become the King of England, suppressing a guy named Ethelred, who wanted to be the King of England, and his son Edmund, and basically Knut becoming the King of Poison, because he has managed to poison all of his enemies, to the dismay of Thorkel. So that's pretty much where we left it. A good recap of what's been going on with our boys since we left them at the end of season 1. But yeah. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Vinland Saga. Shortest recap ever. Let's go. Oh, that was interesting. After a heavy episode about, Thorfinn's past and Einar having to deal with that, and then an episode about Knut the Poisoner and what he's been up to. Let's just chill. Let's have a little slice of life episode. They got a horse. They grew beards. They're doing work. They're doing it, mate. Oh boy. I mean, it's so interesting, like, especially in this episode, it's like, I feel like life has been brought to Thorfinn's eyes for the first time in a long time. Like, just him just taking a moment and just, like, appreciating, like, the inventiveness of just a plow. That's it. It's a plow. It's a wooden contraption tied to a horse. And he's looking at this and is like, this is one of the most amazing things he's ever seen, But it is. Like, most of his life has just been go to place, kill a guy, go to place, try to kill specific guy, fail to kill specific guy, go to place, kill guy, Like, he's been so consumed by being a warrior that he doesn't understand everything else. If anything, he's weirdly been sheltered in war. Like, that's weird. You never think about that. Like, normally I feel like in stories you have like the sheltered person, who doesn't see the world, doesn't experience hardships or anything. And then you have the person who goes off to war, and thus they see things, man. They see things that you wouldn't believe, But here it's kind of reversed, that it's like, no, Thorfinn has been to war. For most of his life he was at war. But now he's actually just seeing the world, He's just seeing the world. But you could also say maybe that's a difference of, like, in other war stories, like war, they say war never changes, but the ins and outs have changed over the last 1,000 years since, Vinland Saga took place. And there is a difference between how wars were fought, Whereas previously, wars were, there's a big open battlefield, you got, 500 people on this side, 500 people on this side, and they go head to head, and, whoever loses all their men first is the loser, whoever has the most men left standing wins, Like, that's what war is in the Viking times. Whereas today, 2024, it's similar, but it is different. There's so many different things. It's not just, 500 people with a sword, 500 more people with a sword, and then they clash. It's like, it's evolved, with guns, and you have people in the air, you have an air force, you have a navy, you have, submarine combat, you have even just snipers, which you could equate snipers to, like, archers, but there's a very big difference, There's still a big difference between snipers and archers, So, that's the thing, it's like everything was so kind of simple, even just, down to, like, you go in, even just sending in, like, when they were in London and Thorfinn had to go and kill Thorkel. He just went in, they had a fight, and he got the hell out of there when he was beaten, and that was pretty much that, But that's the thing, it's like he has only known this one thing, and to be honest, it's been a very, very simple thing. And before that, he was just a young child in Iceland, but Iceland was very different from Denmark, There was no farming going on in Iceland. There was fishing. People fished. Maybe he knows some of the ins and outs of fishing, although I don't know if Thorfinn ever really went fishing, Like, we saw the scene in season 1 where, Ylva was the one who went out and, with Thor's gone, she was the one going out and, going out with a little boat and a harpoon and getting some fish, But we don't even know if Thorfinn ever really did that, So yeah, it's like, as different as Denmark is from Iceland, he still probably didn't even understand all the things in Iceland. Thor's was trying to be a blacksmith. He probably didn't know much about that, But I like that he can just see something like a plow and just be like, wow, what a great invention this is, So that's good. We also had Sverkel, which is how I'm going to say it, Sverkel. An interesting character. I like him. I like that it's like, yeah, he used to be the master, but now his son Ketil is. But he's still doing his thing, he's retired, but he's still trying to work, he probably was forced to retire and he didn't want to, so he's just doing what he does, doing what he's always done. He's doing some farming, even if it means bending over in that field and picking up all those rocks at his age, he's still doing it, But he does understand some of his limitations, so he uses Einar and Thorfinn to get some of the chores done, And in exchange, it's a good exchange that they get to borrow a horse and a plow, whereas he gets help. He's still doing a lot of the work, but he is getting help. And the two of them are helping so much more than Snake ever did. Snake is an interesting character because it's like he's not so, like, arrogant and full of himself as his men were, when it's just like, oh, you just need to kill someone. Oh, we're the best, we're so amazing. It's like, I think Snake does understand some things about the world, but, like, okay, I think Snake understands the dynamics of the world. He has just chosen to forge his own path, basically. Like, he's like, okay, like, there's all this stuff. Like, he understands why certain things are done or all of this stuff, but he's like, well, I could actually justify it, or I can, I can do my thing. And to be fair, he does seem to be doing something, He protects this gigantic farm from thieves, And yes, he takes the time to protect the young women at night as well. But he and his men do protect them from thieves. So he has a function. Is it the best thing he could be doing? Probably not, But he's just kind of, he finds his own way, And to an extent, he is still useful. So it's an interesting thing. It's like he's not, like he is sort of arrogant, and he is sort of, up his own butt. But at the same time, like, he's not entirely useless. Now, why he can't cook, that's part of the arrogance, But it's not a thing of like, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it does kind of remind me of Askeladd in a way, Like, in the same way of, like, I remember, like, back when he fought Thors, and it's like, Askeladd will not actually honor the duel, He will not honor the duel between them. If he's starting to lose, he will have his men just shoot Thors, Or he'll have Bjorn, take Thorfinn as a hostage, to leverage his advantage, But at the same time, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like there's a back and forth. There was a back and forth with Askeladd, and I see that same sort of back and forth with Snake. And I don't fully know how to describe it, but it's that thing of like, it's really just, he's just kind of making his own way, He does what he does, and he makes his own way, Like, that's kind of what I see in both Snake and Askeladd. It's just Snake is younger and a bit more, I'd say he's a bit more cocky and arrogant than Askeladd was, And even then, it's like, it's not even that Askeladd was arrogant, he was just sort of confident, Like, there is a level of arrogance in Snake that Askeladd didn't have, But it is also that thing of like, kind of the Boba Fett thing of like, I'm a simple man just trying to make my way in the universe, Like, I see that in both of them, but I see that Snake is a bit more arrogant. So I guess that's that. So, but yeah, but it was an interesting thing. Definitely a very, very interesting thing between them. So yeah, another really, really good episode. Again, a sort of slice of life episode after two kind of heavy episodes. So I'm curious to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Vinland Saga reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later. Of the ones I left behind that I love.